Welcome back to another edition of the NoStoppingKev podcast. People, you're here. You're joined today with the champ. Talking about myself, NoStoppingKev, aka Kevin Beefer Jr. And as always, here with my co-host, Kevin Beefer Sr. Dad, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I enjoy doing this.
Oh, great. How was your day today?
Well, it was okay. Yeah, I guess I could say congratulations to you on winning the championship today.
Oh, thanks. What were your thoughts on the game?
I think you flagged me one time today too.
Yeah, because you was about to go into coaching mode. I had to tell you to chill, man. We had a game plan. I ain't flag you. I gave you the chill. Chill.
I chill.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Not personal.
It's okay.
I was locked in today. I came into today's game on a mission. Even Devin was like, he ain't even say nothing this morning. But she already knew what time it was.
I see y'all tried to run some plays. I figured y'all tried to run some plays there.
Yeah, we had some actions today. And I ain't gonna say on Thursday I didn't play aggressively. I'll just say, I didn't have confidence shooting the ball because I didn't go through my normal pregame routine. And it was one of those weird balls that the league need to throw that ball away because I'm tired of playing with it.
See, you know what though? See, what I was saying in a game, even though you got a game plan, when it looked like certain players, like when they send a certain player out to guard me.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to think about it, and this will bring up a topic later in the show. But that was 2 possessions in. You telling me to go ISO, second possession of the game.
I didn't tell you to really go ISO. It like sometimes like it's not really going ISO. And sometimes I think it's just sometimes you got to take your man.
Yeah, and I did, right?
I
did. I started being barbecue chicken. I was getting in the paint.
But if you waited to win.
To win. 5 minutes into the game?
Might have been.
What's my role on the team? We've been through this. What's my role?
Your role is, you know what? You're the floor general. You're the leader. So at times, it's whatever is there to start it off.
Yeah, so with starting off, what do you think my objective is?
What is your objective?
I'm asking you, what do you think my objective is as the floor general?
I don't know what yours is. To run the team.
Okay.
To run the team.
And a part of that is getting everyone involved early. Want to get guys in a rhythm early. So I don't want to come out and play one-on-one out the gates.
It's not.
So I come out, let us run our actions, let some other guys touch the ball on a possession.
Okay.
Maybe we can get a possession with 4 or 5 passes at least, and everybody get into the rhythm while also setting the tone on defense.
You know, I remember a game, and I was playing with this when I was in high school in the Sunny Hill League. I'm playing with 3 high school All-American, 2 McDonald's All-American. And you know what? The first couple plays, I wound up taking it. And my coach called timeout. And, like that. I took care of them, but at the time, I just was creating something. And when I tried to create, my shot was there.
Yeah, so when your coach called timeout, what did he say?
He said something, but he said, you got a couple All-Americans here.
He said, pass the damn ball, Beeford. But that, man, a lot of people have been talking over the last couple of weeks since the All-Star break about how the All-Star game is broken, right? And this, I will admit, this is the first All-Star game that I've fallen asleep on in the past. I'm 28. My bedtime used to be, let's just call it the past 20 years. All-Star weekend is my favorite weekend of the year, right? I always boast about that. Like, I love that weekend. I get the Monday off for President's Day. So to me, All-Star weekend is a party in my book. But this year was whack. Like, All-Star game-wise. I enjoyed the dunk contest, enjoyed the 3-point. Skills challenge was even all right. I enjoy Friday night with the celebrity game and the Rising Stars challenge. But the All-Star game brought the Z's out of me. What needs to happen to fix it?
For me, really thinking, you know what? They added too much. Like, one thing is, before I even get to the All-Star game, I think they added too much stuff to the All-Star weekend. You know, hey, I know that you're gonna look at me and you might not see this, but all the festivities, it's like, you know what, like that. This is even before the game. You know, the whole weekend of how much stuff added. Like I'm going back to All Star games. All this to me play a part into this All Star weekend.
How so? How does this stuff?
I
Well,
mean,
how about this? Start here. Back in your day, what was All Star Weekend like?
back in my day, you know what we can go back when they had the 3-point contest. They might have had they had the slam dunk contest. They had the All Star game. Then at the while they brought what they had a rookie game at one time. But you know what? When you got to them games was all competitive. You know, players went at the players. You know, like now, it's just like I seen this coming down the line. Like, you know how you talk about my glasses of seeing in the future? Mm-hmm. I seen this in the future. I seen it. You know, like you know, you got all the festivities. You know what? It's to some people it might be entertainment. But see, the games is not entertainment. You got so much. The way that you pick the teams now, all this and all like that. You know, I don't see entertainment in that now. You know, like another part of some of the game when you start talking about players not playing defense no more. Players don't want to get hurt no more. That take all that competitive out. You know, but people, like when it was the East against the West, you know what? You wanted them bragging rights. You wanted the beat. It wasn't like you was mixed up. It's like, you know what? And I remember, I'm not saying the whole game was played hard. But you know, when they got down to that fourth quarter, you could tell that they wanted to win. Nowadays game, you know what? You got slam dunk contest in the All-Star game. You got a layup line in the All-Star game. How entertainment. You got a 3-point shooting contest in the All-Star game. You got All-Star weekend in the All-Star game. So, I mean, what can you do? Cut that out. Take that away. Then you got, you know, you got the players that don't want to get hurt. That don't want to play because, you know what, it might, but that's the risk of playing basketball. That's the risk of going out there. You know, I remember watching Kobe say, like when they used to play, they used to have more competitive games at UCLA and a pickup game. But they play harder in a pickup game than when they play in front of billions of people. People watching it. Thousands of people there worldwide watching the All-Star game. I gave up. I seen this, like I said, I've been telling you years and you ignored what I was saying, like about that.
Well, it's never been this bad before. Like, it's been, even you go back last year, the game was more entertaining and you had, down the stretch, guys had to play. This year, like you said, you had a 3-point contest within the All-Star game. So I want to go back to kind of your first couple points. I don't think the festivities themselves take away from the All-Star game. I think they're two separate issues because most of the guys competing in the All-Star game aren't competing in the other competitions. So I don't think that they've added too much. I actually think they've filled it to an amount where it's actually a weekend full of entertaining festivities for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, ultimately leading up to the All-Star game. The picking of teams, they kind of try to make it like a kind of like a street ball. You know, the two leading vote getters from each conference are the captains. They pick their squad just like you do at the playground. But I think you raised an interesting point that I didn't think about. That shift takes away the element of pride from being from your conference, representing that East versus West. So to your point, that may have something to do with a lesser degree of competitiveness because it's not, you know, it's Team LeBron versus Team Giannis or whoever the captains are, instead of like, yo, the East is better than the West, our side versus your side, right? Which has history of rivalries even in music, right? So I think that you might be onto something with that. Other stuff, not so much, but with that, you might have something cooking there with them getting rid of the East versus West. So I think the way they pick the teams is actually entertaining. I actually enjoy watching that, seeing who's going to get picked here in the commentary. But who knows? Maybe in another 2-3 years, maybe it gets played out. So I do think the NBA is going to do something to address this, because if the dollars stop coming in because people aren't watching, right? NBA don't want that bottom line hit. So Adam Silver, I'm sure, is going to come up with something. And yeah, you brought up the other good thing. We see pickup games from all summer with these dudes playing like it's the NBA Finals. And, as someone put it, the All-Star game was like a glorified layup line. That has to change. What do you think they should do to fix this? Like, how can you remedy the All-Star game as we see it today? What do we need to do, change, take away? What are your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, I think the players have to want to change. See, it starts with right there. I mean, you can do anything. You know what? You can't say the winner takes this much more money. Some of them guys already make money. That money money is already there. It's your, word you use, your pride. You wanting to be able to say, we beat you. We play, you want to play hard. It's the players that got to go out there. They the ones that's up there launching shots like that. They the ones that's not playing defense. They the ones that, like I'm saying, how can, even like you say last year All-Star game, what? Because somebody hit 15 threes in a game?
No, but they were playing down the stretch. It got interesting.
But you know what? You play, what got interest? What really? I mean, I turned it off. Like I said.
I mean, this year, I'm talking about last year. I'm saying going back. I mean, you don't even watch, so you probably not a good man during this.
I start out watching every All-Star game. Believe me, I start out watching. And you know what? The thing was, when I knew that this was going to be a topic, I went back and watched some All-Star games. And watched some of the players and how they got after one another. See, I remember watching All-Star games. I've been doing it for a lot of years. Now, I still try to. But like I said, the game has changed and the players changed. Like when you add, even low, one of the players were talking about low management. He was saying, you know what? He don't even believe in. He a player from Minnesota.
Yeah, you talking about Anthony Edwards.
Right. Like what he said. That's what Kobe said. People pay to, see stuff. To see people come out there and play. They don't play to come to you half behind play today. Like we said, you'll go to a pickup game and play hard in a pickup game where you ain't got that many people out there.
Here's what I'll say about the pickup game comment. Yes, I do agree. Players, there needs to be some meeting in the middle when it comes to load management. I think if a player is good enough to play though, let's call it 80%. If he's at that mark, he should go out there, even if you got to play lesser minutes at night. Just give the fans an opportunity to see you. But the comparison, the one thing that we may overlook when comparing those summer UCLA or Lifetime Fitness, wherever these guys are playing pickup at, to the All-Star game, you got to remember in the summer, if something happens, right, you got a little bit more recovery time. Coming out of the All-Star break, you're coming down the final stretch of the season. You may only have 22, 23 games left before the playoffs. So guys want to be healthy during that stretch. I think there's a way to play and still play hard and not get hurt. I think they have to go out there and be willing to do that, to your point. But I think, something's going to have to happen when it comes to money. I think players get bonuses for competing in the All-Star game, from the league, not even just on their contract basis. I think on the contract side, when they're getting these things structured, how players may get a certain bonus for making the All-Star team. Maybe they scale that back to where you get a percentage of that number if you make the All-Star team, but if you win it, then you get the remaining percentage. And then the other thing, the league even gives, I think, every player a bit of money. What if in the All-Star game, right, instead of each player walking away with something, maybe they put the whole pot up in the middle, right? And the winning team walks away with it. And now Gilbert Arenas gave his perspective on this because everybody said, you guys already make a gazillion dollars. He's like, but if I got a chance to be walking around with $200,000 in my pocket right now, just because, I'm going to play for that. So maybe there's something there. And then the other thing that I originally thought about, how during All-Star Weekend, the NBA is donating money to charities. Even during the All-Star game, how whoever wins a quarter, money goes to charity.
Right.
What if you make the money that you got to pay to the charity come out of the dudes on the floor's pocket? So, like, if y'all lose this quarter, y'all got to collectively donate $500,000 to Boys and Girls Club.
What are you talking about? Match the offer or something like that?
Sure. Even better. Have the league send they $500,000 and then have the players be like, oh, we got to give up $500,000, or have it go quarter to quarter. You know, come up with something. Make these guys play, because I think money will motivate them. But yeah, moving on to our next topic. That this is something that has been kind of joked about quite a bit over recent years with the way this player talks, the way he carries himself. You know, you would think he's a bus driver and not really a bus rider, but I guess, you know, maybe he drives, you know, not the bus, but you know, the like transit vans and stuff. Maybe he's good enough to drive one of them. But the player of discussion in this segment is going to be Draymond Green. So recently, Delon Brooks had a comment about Draymond. I want to pull it up here so that I don't butcher this thing. But see if I can see this. I might need you to read this, man. So Delon Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies said, I don't like Draymond at all. I don't like Golden State. I don't like anything to do with them. Draymond talks a lot, gets away with a lot too. But if you put him anywhere else, you're not going to know who Draymond is. He plays with heart, plays hard, knows the ins and outs of their defense. I guess that's why they like him over there. So the question is, do you think Draymond Green could be successful on any other team?
I think he would. I think Draymond can, because you know what, teams can use a player like him. You know, like Draymond. You know what, his credentials kind of show for itself. No, he's not a great superstar. He's not nobody. No, he's not a person that you're gonna pay to come see Draymond Green. You know, he's not box office. He's not box office. But you know what? He's a leader. He got all the, you know, like he know, like, you know what? It's funny because I was listening to on Shannon Sharp interview Andre Iguodala, and the things that he said, like, you know what? I already did my things and what I was thinking about Draymond, and like, you know what? He was just talking when he just hit on Draymond. You know, like how Draymond know how to get Steph the ball, know where he want that. You know, I think that them type players, you know what? He even made the All-Star team 4 times. He made that 4 times.
Do you think the only reason he made the All-Star team, put it this way, do you think Draymond is a, 4-time All-Star?
Yes.
And a champion because he played with Steph and Clay?
I think that you could have put him with some other people and some other teams. The qualities that he brings to the game. That's what we got. You know what? The leadership that he brings.
Sure, put it this way. If you put him on a team that was a 500 ball club, I'm talking middle of the road, Washington Wizards, before this year, Sacramento Kings, Indiana, like all those teams, right? If you plug him there, would he still be an all-star caliber player?
His game can be that. Like, you know what? Stephen made him an all-star player? Or did his game, the way that he played his game, help make him an all-star player? Now, because he was around, but you got to remember, you know what? It was times that Golden State didn't go to the championship.
They've been, in the last decade, they've been damn near pretty dominant, even if they didn't make it all the way to the championship.
You know what? The other year, what they had, the playing game?
Yeah, I mean, Steph was out. They were down guys pretty much the whole year.
Okay, but but then everybody came back. See, we're gonna always make some kind of excuse, but he still play his game and still got what he do. What he doing?
So here's what I'll say about Draymond. I think historically, the narrative around Draymond is really the product of him playing with Steph and Clay. He's been a part of a dynasty, right? So I think when you're in front of the dynasty and you got lights on you, right? He plays well. I like all the things Draymond does. So just let me get to the end of this.
Right.
I think that being in that spotlight gave him exposure to the world, which increased his popularity in some respects, right? So sometimes I think, as far as him being an all-star, I don't see... He's almost not a true all-star because I bet you I can find a player who performed better than Draymond during those years where he was a full-time all-star. Like some of those years, you got guys getting snubbed that are undoubtedly first ballot Hall of Famers. Like Draymond's a questionable first ballot Hall of Famer, but because he has the accolades, the Defensive Player of the Year, because he has the 4 All-Stars, and whatever else he has, I think that 17-time All-Defense, 2-time All-NBA. And again, had that season where he led the league in steals and won Defensive Player of the Year. I think that Draymond's narrative, the narrative around him, is a bit overrated. But I actually agree with you. I think that if Draymond was on another team, right, he could be the same guy. You know why? Because numbers-wise, it's not like he's anything special. Like his main attributes, high IQ. He's a good passer, facilitator. He's going to rebound. He's going to play defense. He's going to hustle. He's going to bring that leadership to the table. He's going to intimidate the other team where he can. And he's going to be that heartbeat and that anchor of your locker room, right? Those are things that, are kind of intangibles, right? Besides the rebounding stats and like some of the things on defense. But look at Draymond's career stats. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. That ain't nothing special. You can get 9 points. That's what 4 layups and a free throw.
See,
you can get 7 rebounds just by being in the game, boxing out, hustling. Now the assist, I give it to him. Great passer, IQ. He's getting guys the ball in the right spot. But even this year, 8 points, 7 and 7. Like there's nothing special about his numbers. So I think he can go and be just as effective around other guys. Now if you put him on a team with no weapons, like I don't know who's the worst team. Like maybe like the Pistons, where they got a bunch of young guys that are still learning how to play. He might struggle there. But if he got some decent guys around him, I think he can be the same guy.
See, another part that like I see of his game or probably what it is what you don't see. It's what we don't see. You know what? The things that he might have helped Steph in them with. That things that he might have helped put it and Clay in them here. They know they got somebody that's going to ride with them. They know that this person going to be there for them. You know how much more that take off of somebody? That kind of player. See, you know what? And that's why with the stats that you just named, he made All-Star team 4 times. You know what? And they the type players that sometimes is missing, and that's why I didn't want to say nothing. And that's why I was smiling earlier. You know what? You need some players in the All-Star game like him.
No, you don't need nobody in the All-Star game. Nobody watching the All-Star game to see Draymond Green, Dad. Come on.
You know what? Hold up.
Come on now.
Hold up.
Come on now.
But you know what?
You tuning in to see Dre?
No. Okay. Do you think Dennis Rodman ever should have made Dennis Rodman made All-Star
I wasn't watching basketball back then.
Hold up. But you have players that made
but look,
players that were rewarded, and the games was better than they are now. They was better because you had people in the games like that. That's what you feel to miss. That's what the game not seeing today.
Dad, listen.
You don't have to.
It's not just having a guy like Dennis in the game. Everybody, 24 guys in the All-Star game came to play back then. That's not the case now. It's not like you just had one Dennis Rodman was the spark to make everybody play hard. No, all those guys went out there trying to play hard.
But you ain't have you know what? You might have one or two players like Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman. You know what? Some players was rewarded, man, for the game. Sure. Players today is not getting rewarded for that. You ain't have nobody on them All-Star team today was rewarded for that their games like that.
That's not true.
Who? Okay, tell me one player that was.
Be specific. What you looking for?
I'm just talking about players that play the game like maybe Dennis and them. Oh, hold up. Ben Simmons might have made a couple All-Star games.
He made some.
He made a couple All-Star games. I think he shouldn't have made the All-Star team. So but I still don't think that he had a real impact.
So you're asking for guys from this year?
No, I'm just saying sometimes you gotta put people with a competitive spirit really in there.
So you saying competitive spirit, but subpar numbers?
I mean, sometimes to play an all-around game, like
most of the time, if you go back to those years, Draymond made the All-Star game, right? I'm willing to bet you can find guys who were dominating, and it might be the case that they were guards, so maybe he gets a pass there. But there's some snubs where you're like, that dude's 100% better than Draymond.
You know.
You can have the last word, then we gotta move on.
You know what? I remember back then when the Sixers won the championship. You had Mark Alberoni. In LA, you had Kurt Rambis. You had and you know what? You know what Sadell used to tell me? Man, he said Mark Alberoni used to be crushing Doc and them in practice. He said that, man, you wouldn't believe what he had. But you know what? He went and played his game.
We talking about practice? We talking about practice?
But look who right, because
not a game.
You know what?
Not a game. We talking about practice?
He did his job in the game.
Hey, yo, Dad, check this out. Check this out, Dad. Check this out, Dad.
You're missing it.
Yo, I'm not missing it.
You're missing it.
Dad, listen.
You're missing it.
Listen.
You're missing it. You're missing it.
My senior year of high school, I can call Dev and Twine right now. In practice, oh boy, I'm McDonald's All-American in practice. Your boy didn't miss. But in games, I did my job. But guess what? Who the hell cares? Nobody.
But that's why they had their spot.
Yeah, that's why I had my spot. That's why I held down the starting point guard.
You know what?
But practice, Kevin, was different than game, Kevin.
But their role, what they played major roles on that team.
Yeah, I know.
They played major roles.
But guess what?
So you need what I'm saying. You need people like that.
Yes, and I agree with you.
And the All-Star game needs some people like that.
No, you don't need them in the All-Star game. You need them to win championships.
Why not?
You need them to win championships.
That's why the All-Star game is just like it was today.
No,
a circus.
Not a circus. Because you didn't have Draymond Green. Because Draymond Green didn't make the All-Star game this year. That's why.
No. Because basically the way it is now.
Those two different things. I don't think having.
The way it is.
I don't think having. So you saying if we put Pat Beverly in the All-Star game, it's gonna be different?
No. Now see now you know what?
Your man Anthony Edwards, who had all that to say, was out there. He was out there, and that didn't change anything. So it's not just about having dogs out there. You know what? You know, it's the culture and everything else around it has to change.
You know what? One day you might see it, or maybe later on you'll see it.
Yeah, when I get my bifocals, when I get my prescription, maybe things I will see clearly now.
Right.
Moving on. So, Dad, the Lakers have switched things up quite a bit. You know, they made some trades. They got rid of Westbrook. They got Pat Bev out of there. But pretty much since the bubble, there's been some injuries there, but the Lakers have struggled since winning their last championship in 2020 down in Orlando in the bubble. And when they first brought AD to LA, wasn't the narrative kind of that LeBron wanted AD to kind of run things and he would be that supporting star kind of, right? Do you recall that? Or am I making it up?
Now you bring the baloney. Are you bringing the baloney?
No, I'm saying that's what that was the narrative back then when AD came. It was that this is gonna be AD's show. LeBron was gonna be there, but they expected AD to have a big role, right?
I'm listening to you.
All right, so
I'm not agreeing with you.
So here's my thing. AD has been in LA for how many years now? 2020. It's like 3 or 4, maybe 4.
Yeah, if you count the 2020 year.
All right. Which mean if we count the championship?
No, it's 23 now. So that's what 3 years.
So it's about
3 years, right?
This is 4th season there.
So it came really 19, right?
Yeah. So he came there, and people expected him to kind of carry the Lakers, but he hasn't carried pretty much anything except maybe a medical bag because he's always hurt. But a lot of people even last season tried to pin the Lakers' troubles on who? or the last couple seasons? What were kind of the reasons people gave? Coach, Westbrook, all these things, right? Not having shooters. Sure, that could be part of it. But for me, the biggest glaring issue has been the lack of production from Anthony Davis when you need him most. He hasn't carried him. And people love to say, oh, AD got a championship. He got the championship because he was playing alongside the GOAT, who makes the game easy for any and everyone, right? So I'm looking at Anthony Davis's numbers, right? I had to start looking because, again, hold on. Let me.
I'm going
to put you on a mute button, right?
Go ahead.
And numbers don't always tell a whole story because, again, back when he was in New Orleans, who was in New Orleans with him?
It was basically him, I believe.
Right, nobody. So if nobody there, you should put up numbers. Am I right?
But
if you a great player and you playing by yourself, is there any reason you shouldn't put up numbers? Yes or no?
If you're not good enough to put up numbers, no.
So he put up numbers. So he's decent, right? He's able to put up numbers there. It's easy to go out and get 30 if you the only one that's shooting the ball. If you get to shoot the ball anytime you want, you should be able to go put up 30. Even LeBron said if Bronny wanted to average 30 at Sierra Canyon, he could shoot the ball 20 times a game and do so. AD's career stats, he's a 24-10 guy this season. He is up at 26-12. 4-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Star. His best years in New Orleans, he was like a 28-11 guy. But then something jumped out at me to that. This dude only been to the playoffs 4 times in his career. This is somebody that they try to tout as arguably, you remember a couple years ago, Anthony Davis, best big man in the league. Where? How? And look, this is why I think he's overrated too. There's not that many great bigs left in today's NBA, right? So if you're number 4, you're arguably the best. Like, yeah, right. Because Andre Drummond not up there anymore. What are your thoughts on Anthony Davis?
I think when Anthony Davis play, when Anthony Davis healthy, he is one of the best. And
because there's only like 4 of them, so all of them is one of the best.
Whatever you're gonna say, you know what? Like you said, he left New Orleans. LeBron went and got him, and he did what he had to do. He did what he did. Like, yeah, I don't agree with his injuries, but when he come to play, he play. Even down the stretch the last couple months or something, he played.
I'm just thinking, was Anthony Davis ever really that great?
So you think him being an 8-time All-Star, you don't think he deserved that? You think he would just put in that position?
So kind of like you know, how Draymond Green gets thrown a bone, right? All-Star, they vote. It's kind of by fans vote by positions, right? So you got your front court, you got your guards, and then the coaches put in the reserves, right? There's not that many good big men. Hold on. There's not that many good big men in the NBA. So by default, he's going to get in there. Look at it. All right, so look, I went through the list of kind of notable bigs in the NBA, right? Let's just say Giannis. People will pick Giannis as the best big in the league, right? They'll pit number 2. They'll probably pit Joker, right? Number 3, our boy from Philly, Joel Embiid, right? Guess who you would probably have to pit next when he's healthy? Astridge. Anthony Davis. Because guess who the bigs are that come after that? You'll see guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo, Zion Williamson, Domantas Sabonis, Julius Randle. The drop-off is significant. So for that, I'm saying this man is overrated because the league is not saturated at the big man position. There's only a couple notable, great, significant big men, and I'll say he is top tier big. So much so that I even took a risk on him and picked him on my fantasy basketball team. Because I'm like, yo, when he plays, he can do some things. But I just think that Anthony Davis might be overrated.
I'm not going to say he overrated. I'm not going to say he overrated. You know what? I'll say because his injuries, he's not consistently out there are there. But when he plays, he plays. And you can't take that away from him. You know what? When he came to L.A., they won the championship. If he ain't come that year to the L.A., he would have not won the championship.
All right, how about
L.A.
this?
would have not won the championship.
If LeBron wasn't there, L.A. wouldn't have won the championship.
Okay. But LeBron went and got Anthony Davis.
Okay.
He knew. So he didn't think he was overrated.
Who's more critical? More critical to them winning that championship, LeBron or Anthony Davis?
What you mean?
Remove one from the team.
Remove either one of them from the team. Remove either one of them.
Put it this way. I don't have my wallet on me right now. I give you $1,000 poker trip, right? You can either put it on that Lakers squad with LeBron or that Lakers squad with Anthony Davis. Which one you picking to win the title?
None of them.
You gotta pick one, Dad.
No.
I'm making a point here.
You're not. No, the point you're making is not. No. If neither, I wouldn't put it on neither one of them. If both of them is not there together.
You're now you're just trying to be difficult.
No, I'm telling you, this is my opinion. This is the way I think.
Which one has won a title without the other then? And I'll leave it at that, and we can move on.
Okay,
because that's a mic drop.
Okay,
that's a mic drop.
Okay. LeBron got a championship, but he got champion. But look who he got championships with.
All I'm saying.
Look who Anthony Davis played with.
How
before
many times LeBron has been to the finals? Anthony Davis only been to the playoffs 4 times, and how many times did he do it with LeBron? He's only been there twice by himself. Overrated.
You know what? When the GOAT first got in the league,
he was in the finals by year 3.
No.
Year 3.
No, the GOAT was not in the finals. I'm talking about the real GOAT.
Now, you talking about the dude that was getting his behind kicked for a decade? Okay. That's who you talking about?
It wasn't a decade. But you know what? He undefeated. I'm talking about the guy that undefeated in championships.
Okay.
I'm talking about a guy, the GOAT that's undefeated with no losses. No losses in the championship. None. Not one.
You mean a series loss, but I got you.
Every time he made it to the championship, he brought the trophy home.
Okay.
Home.
You done?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the other team in LA. So the other day, I was watching the Clippers because my man Westbrook, he done switched teams in LA, right? Why you laughing?
You know what? It's just, you know what? Go ahead. Just go ahead.
So they played the Warriors, kind of blew a big lead. Clippers got some things they need to figure out, but part of the Warriors' game plan was to kind of leave Russ open on the perimeter to the point where when he would catch the ball at times, it wouldn't rotate out. And one thing that I didn't like on social media, as they were sharing it, they was kind of sharing a clip where the Clippers were clearly like trying to run an action to get another guy open. So it was kind of like, I don't know if that was the first play, second time where they did that to Russ, but clearly, they were trying to get a different look, but I'll address that in a minute. But for me, it was like from a coaching perspective and also just from a locker room perspective. Like someone has to recognize, and I mean Russ should recognize it too, that guys aren't guarding you. Go ahead and shoot the ball, even if he steps in and take his mid-range shot. From a coaching standpoint, I'm gonna say, okay, if Draymond, first of all, in that one clip, it should have been illegal defense, but that's a different story. For one thing, instead of clogging up the middle, open the floor up, right? You can go 1-4 flat. You can go 5 out. ISO it. Russ, go get any shots you want. You can he's shooting 34% from 3. That's not bad at all. Go ahead and shoot it the next 10 possessions. If we walk away with like 9 points out of that, so be it. But for whatever reason, passed up shots. I don't know what the conversations are like between him, Kawhi, and PG. Those guys should have been saying, yo, baby goat, shoot the ball. Ty Lue should have been saying, fire away. I don't care if Westbrook needs to stand in the mirror. This is what my boy Antoine said. He said Westbrook should stand in the mirror with his MVP trophy and tell himself, I'm the only MVP on this team. If that's going to help his confidence. But Clippers got to figure some things out to get these guys playing because I think there's a lot of potential there. I think roles just guys got to kind of fall into roles and figure out how do they translate all their potential into wins on the court.
I was trying to catch some of the Clippers games. I wanted to catch some of them, but I really didn't get a chance to watch them. One thing that I don't know. Like I said, like it's a shame the way it really seemed like Westbrook career is going down the drain. Like it really seemed like like now when he go to the Clippers, they lost their last 4 games since the All-Star break. And not saying it's West's fault, but it just don't look good. It just I would listen to Eddie House, and Eddie House he was talking about you can't say that Westbrook fault. Westbrook had some good games in there.
He has.
He had some good games.
He had some games with a lot of turnovers too. But
yeah, but that was pointed out too.
But go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No. The thing is, like, you know what, like like it just don't really to me. It just don't kind of look good. Then you just coming from L.A. with L.A. Now when you leave L.A., look what L.A. did and look at the way they picked up. When you talk about the way in the locker room. See, like sometimes it ain't always what's on the court. Sometimes it's what affected around before some people even get on the court. It's like that one, like when you were talking about in the bring Draymond up, and Draymond did some crazy things when he punched Poole, or he did some things, but you don't know cancer eats. Like I'm just saying, it's a shame the way Westbrook is probably going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He probably going to it's going to be there. But just like right now, it just don't look good the way what teams and how he been leaving and going to different teams. Then when you were talking about LA, the stuff in the locker room or something like that. I know that's your man.
I mean, until we hear something definitive about him being the problem in the locker room, I'm just gonna let that ride. I think there was a fit issue there. And if you tell me you can have the GOAT, AD, and Russ and you can't figure that out, that kind of goes back to scheme for me. But in terms of the Clippers, I've watched a few of their games. They're like teddy bears. Like, defensively, they soft in the middle. So they got to kind of shore up that defense. Then I think that'll help them win some games. Because that's even been their issue in the past. Like, sure, it doesn't look good. I agree that Russ is there. They're not winning games. But what have we said in playoff series in the past with the Clippers? They've had Kawhi and Paul George there for 4 years now. And they've had trouble stopping guys defensively, right? And now if you watch the game, sure, people are going to be like, oh, the Westbrook thing not panning out. It's the defense in the middle. Russ's job isn't to protect the middle, right? Like, that's not his role, right? That's usually a bigger guy's responsibility. That means you got to stop letting guys get in the lane. And at times, even Paul George and Kawhi, like, those guys are missing defensive assignments. So, yeah, it looks bad, but, like, until guys actually watch a Clipper game, it's, it's almost like don't comment on it. Because if you watch it, it's kind of clear to see that their defense sucks in the middle.
Well, Kawhi play when he want to play.
Yeah, he king of load management, right?
He
the face of it.
But you know what? He even play in some games like he played. And I forgot what stats a couple of his stats in the game. They say Paul George wanted Westbrook to come in because of their relationship in OKC.
So again, I don't think Westbrook is a bad locker room guy, contrary to what may have been put out there. But that to another guy that has had some questionable dealings in recent history. What you think about this whole Ja Morant situation?
I think it's sometimes I think that you really got to grow up, and what you look at what you almost given up, and I think that's the reason why. I just can't understand it. I just can't understand why you put yourself in a position like that. I mean, you know how many people would love to be in his position? Like, what I think it's crazy You know what? I'm making millions and millions of dollars. And you think I need to play with a gun? You think I need to be around a gun? I could pay professionals to do that. You know, I could have professional bodyguards. I shouldn't even have to worry about that stuff no more because now, you know what? I don't need a gun because you're not going to even get around me. You're not going to get to me unless I want you to get to me. You know, and they still have street mentality. You know, I remember the day. We remember when you was filming our trailer for this, and we walking down. You talking about you from the hood, and remember I said you grew up in the hood, but you ain't from the damn hood. I done did hood things all my life. I ain't hood. I'm not one of them. I'm not that guy. I'm not that bad, and I'm not gonna pretend to be that bad. Give me a couple $100 million. You think I need to act like that? No way.
Yeah, man. I think the ironic thing with all of this is it's one thing if Ja Morant was a dude who was a street guy. People kind of dug into his background. He's not much of a street guy. He's like, as me and some of my friends call, hood adjacent, right? Like, you know, you remember the movie 8 Mile? Like, social media is undefeated. So, you know, when Eminem's character roast dude in a rap battle talking about he not really gangster, like he went to a private school, had both his parents. They did a side-by-side, and Ja Morant's life mirrors that guy, right? So it's just kind of, it's almost wanting to emulate what society kind of feeds you as being cool all your life. Like we look at, you know, especially in the black community, we kind of glorify certain lyrics that, you know, put on a pedestal things like women, drugs, and violence, right? Money is in that equation too. So you kind of grow up thinking that you got to be this, but it's like, bro, you made it out. Like you should be so far away from that. And then I think it also points to the lack of kind of leadership within his circle, even outside of himself. I think if you don't surround yourself with the right people, it's going to be detrimental in the end. So like the fact that he's not even if let's say he got the street boys, they his homies, right? Like his dude that he used to hoop with, his best friend, you know, couldn't go as far in basketball, so he fell into street life. And now he like, yo, I'm going to hold you down, John, because you've been my boy since day one. There's an element of, I think, street where it's almost like, yo, you need to kind of, it's a divide, right? So to the point where they will protect, like I've seen it happen, like even in the neighborhood, guys that I knew that, you know, sold drugs and all that, they would always be like, yo, so proud of what you're doing in school, right? Same thing happened for basketball players. They'd be like, I've heard stories of guys, you know, before places get shot up, the dudes that they knew were cool and would hoop, they be like, yo, y'all need to get out of here because it's about to go down, right? So the fact that the people in his circle aren't even like, yo, when you around, we not going to have the guns anywhere in the building, right? Like the fact that they're not like almost slapping him upside the head for putting their whole situation at risk, you know, just shows the lack of leadership. And then I got my own opinions kind of about his pop too. I think his pop's a bit of a character, right? So sometimes when I see him do stupid stuff, I'm like, just looks like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. But then the other questionable thing is I think his mom got into a dispute with a mall employee, and she called him, and then he pulled up with all, like, what are we doing? Like, your son is one of the best point guards in the NBA, is on track to have a Hall of Fame career. And because someone makes you upset or maybe disrespected you, you going to call him and have him jeopardize all of that, and you're fine, right? Like, no one probably hit that lady. If anything, they could have said something rude, right? I don't know. But I'm assuming she was okay, right? If you're good enough to make the call, like, you're not dying. I just think the people around, like, he's just kind of being a product of his environment and isn't at the point, you know, you hinted on something earlier when it comes to maturity. He just hasn't matured yet to realize that he needs to separate himself from certain things in his life. Last word on that?
But, you know, you hit a point when you said his life, he didn't grow up like that. So, you know what? If some people live that life, was on the outside then. Like, I know about you think I walk anywhere I wanted to walk. I walk where, and you know what? And I didn't have to worry about. You know what? Gangs all around. I went all territory, and I was able to go. I was able to get through there because of that. But you know what?
Because you hooped.
Because I hooped. You know, I like I said, I seen all that. But like, you know what? Like, if you don't need the show, if these guys, you don't need. You already bigger than these guys. You don't need that to have for people to like you. People already love you.
Yeah.
Now
people loving you less
now. Now you bring this type of stuff, or you run up there. Your mom, like you said, your mom call you. But what if the other person had the gun too? Had a gun, all 5 of them had guns, and you got 1 gun. Your mom put you in a dangerous situation. A person that we work together with, a person that we work, his mother called him. Now he in jail for murder. Because his mom was messing around
from
with
your job right now.
Right now.
Wow.
When I would listen to Jaylen Rose, I didn't know he does a lot of good stuff, a lot of work with people like that. You know, Stephen A. was talking about how he covered Iverson, with Iverson potsy and all like that. You know what he had to go through, but a lot of stuff Allen Iverson went through that he wasn't even involved in. It was his potsy that did it. But you know what? He straightened up.
Yeah, I mean, even Carmelo talks about how I think something happened at a game or something. But anyway, David Stern called him into the office in New York and was like, hey, I know you are associated with this guy, and this guy. Like, you want to be a basketball player or a street dude? And at that point, Melo was like, man, that's when I found out the NBA were the feds. Like, they know everything. So, you know, at this point, there's no excuse for Ja to kind of do the things that he does. And the fact that after the incident with the Pacers where, you know, someone from his entourage pointed a laser, Pacers said they saw a gun as well. After that, and then even, you know, the other night when at a game when Anthony Davis got dunked on by Jaren Jackson and he's doing kind of gun celebrations, you know, it's almost like he's trying to troll the situation, kind of like how Gilbert did back in the day, even though Gilbert Arenas' situation was all word of mouth when we got Ja on candid camera. You would think he would be on the straight and narrow, but right now he's at that point in his life where he feels invincible. So hopefully he straightens up. But Dad, it's time for my favorite part of the show. You know what time it is.
Go ahead.
You don't know?
The WNBA.
Yeah, man. It's time for that women's basketball spotlight segment. So Dad, just I want to make a note off the bat. April 10th, the WNBA draft is going down in New York. They're going to have an orange carpet showcase where you'll get to see a bit of the prospects' personalities. So they'll probably have interviews and stuff like that. Actually plan on tuning in just to get a little bit more about some of the women that will get drafted this year. Kind of looking at the projected top 4 picks. And this might change a little bit because somebody might slip out. Aaliyah Boston from the South Carolina Gamecocks. She's projected to go number 1 overall to the Indiana Fever. So, you know, when I travel out to Indy, I might got to hit up a Fever game, see what's up, you know, sit courtside, enjoy the show. Diamond Miller from Maryland. I haven't had the opportunity to see her, but she averages 20 and 7. She's a 6'3" guard. Haley Jones, I've seen quite a bit of her from Stanford. She's 13, 9, and 4. Yo, she's only listed as a 6'1" guard. For some reason, I thought she was so much bigger than that because she kind of plays like a point forward role, like kind of like a Draymond situation where, you know, kind of defends the post well, defends the perimeter. I love when you had that little smirk like you want to say something. I like Draymond, Dad. Don't get me wrong, but right now we got to stay on topic because this is the women's time. All right? And then number 4 from Villanova. She is Villanova's all-time leading scorer, and right now the leading scorer in women's Division I basketball, that's Maddie Siegrist. So, you know, they think she may go number 4 overall to the Mystics. So, it'll be interesting to see, but I wanted to highlight that because guess what's coming up? March Madness, the tournament. So, make sure you check out your South Carolina Gamecocks, Maryland, Stanford, and Villanova to, you know, get a look at the projected top 4 picks. Was another wholesome moment last week. We got to see Brittany Griner back in workouts. We saw a moment with her being embraced by Kevin Durant, who is also now in Phoenix. So it's just kind of good to see Brittany reacclimating, getting back on the basketball court, and I look forward to seeing her play this summer. So I gotta make a trip to either when I'm in Indiana, or I got to travel up to New York or DC to try to see some more women's action this summer. And then one big move that happened during the trades: Diamond DeShields was traded to the Dallas Wings. I love Diamond DeShields. He's like speedy guard, playmaker. She can get buckets. But the Dallas Wings also have the number 3, 5, and 11 picks. So they can make some moves this year. They can get a big-time player out of college that they probably can integrate right into their lineup. And, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
You want to go to a WNBA game this summer?
Why not?
All right, bet. We there. Last but not least, that had a little trivia question for you.
Oh, here we go with that.
You probably, I thought of two. You want the easy one or the hard one?
I don't know. Your easy might be hard.
What's the size of a WNBA or a women's basketball?
I don't know. I know it's smaller. That's all I know. I don't know the size.
All right, I'm going to give you multiple choice. 27.5, 28.5, 29.5, or 30.5.
27.5.
That is incorrect.
I don't know.
You weren't the only. So I put this on the story last week, and a lot of people actually said 27.5. That's actually like the youth size. The women's basketball is a 28.5. Men's basketball is 29.5.
Now, has it always been that size?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I want to say yes.
Okay.
Why? You got something?
I don't know.
Fishing? You were just fishing.
I don't know. I never worried about what size it was. I know it was smaller.
You want to hear the hard question?
What's the hard?
The hard question was going to be, how many teams have there been in the WNBA's history?
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know that.
But it's a great fun fact question.
It can't, because I haven't watched that. I haven't followed WNBA.
Yeah. I didn't know this either, though. I didn't get this right when I was going through it either. The correct answer? You want me to give you multiple choice and have you guess?
I don't know.
All right, here we go.
I hate guessing.
All right, here we go.
I don't know why. I hate guessing.
Here's the answer. Here's the choices. 8, 12, 16, or 18.
Now, what's the question?
The number of WNBA teams there have been in the league's entire history. So remember, some teams have come and gone. So 8, 12, 16, or 18.
I'll go with 16.
Close. There have been 18 teams in the WNBA's history. Thanks for playing. It's been a pleasure.
I hate guessing. You know that.
It's all good, man. Hey, think about it. You keep tuning into the show. Keep following us on Instagram. Like myself, JK, I'm not there yet. But together, we will all become WNBA experts. But Dad, we got to get ready to get out of here. It's been a pleasure doing this jam-packed show. We had a lot for y'all today, and hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate you being here. And until next time, peace.
Peace.